Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's word, charmaine. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. We will do it in time lapse, but I will do a voiceover. So let's get started on the name. We do have a theme today. We're gonna work with yellows, oranges, browns. Hopefully do right by the name. Hopefully try and fit within an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. All right, see you in a few. So let's get this thing started. I decided that I'm not going to use a pencil or a pen to sketch this one out. I'm actually going to go straight into the markers. The markers I'm using are Prisma in this case. I have a collection of markers that I've just collected over time. Some Prisma, some random, some Sharpies. It just depends. If you do art, you know that you're just going to use anything you can until the very last drop. I also wanted to stick with a theme today, which is more in the warmer tones. Yellows, oranges, reddish, brown. It just seems like those colors do better on the paper. And I'm still not using white paper. So the warmer I can get on these off-white papers, the better. It's also a more simpler style, something that you can recognize or just in general read. Sometimes I could do more complex, but it just takes away from being able to read these names. And the name Charmaine is a long name. So the more complex you make it, the more complicated it will be to read. So I figured let's stick with some simplicity, add a little style to it. And so far it's looking good. It's all lowercase in this case, even the C. And the reason I did that is to get all of the letters to fit on this piece of paper. It's only 11 inches wide, and trying to fit this many letters on the piece of paper, you have to compact them. So you also notice I went up and down with some of the letters, like some of them are offset, and that's purposeful in order to conserve all the space. So I'm outlining in black, throwing a blue in the shadow. We have a turquoise green for a background. Real simple background, like super simple. Nothing complex. All of the shadow is going to the middle, and it just keeps things simple, especially with a real long name like this. I decided to throw 2 arrows, one on the C and one on the E, just for some kind of symmetry. And then right here, I'm going back and throwing a little drop shadow over each letter. And that's going to conclude this one. So let's get into the end notes. All right, we just concluded this thing. Appreciate you guys following along so far. I think we did pretty good. We have a multicolored blend going from yellow to an orange to a red to a brown. Looks pretty good. I did mess up in a few places, but that's okay. I was working strictly with pen. We have a multicolored background, which is like a green and a jade. And then I decided to add a very light white highlight, just enough to make the bomb pop. And then a red accent in certain areas. Initially, I was like, oh, let me outline the entire thing, but I didn't want to butcher this because, again, this paper is kind of absorbent, and what I wanted to outline it with would have absorbed right into that paper. So I said, eh. And then also, where each letter overlaps each other, I added a different shade. That's actually a green, but the green on this paper makes it look like a dark yellow. So it looks like it's casting a shadow in certain areas. Added some orange on the orange and green on the yellow to give the illusion everything's overlapping. I messed up here, which is why I made the line a little bit fatter. And I think that's the only place I screwed up on. Oh, and right here, that blue. I completely forgot that I was trying to bring all of the shadows to the middle, and somehow this one just got away from me. But fix it with a little bit of background, and you probably would have never noticed unless I pointed it out. All right, so I like this one. Give this one a solid A-. It's not perfect, but I do like it. And I will see you guys on the next one.